Hi folks, just had a racism, or maybe classism, incident in your lily white/rich kid town, and I thought I'd bring it to your attention to give you the sense of shame you deserve for allowing this to happen to a young child. I was teaching my 17-year-old nephew, a real sweet, smart kid who just got his permit a few months ago, how to drive. Anyway, he lives in the area and usually I use my Leaf to give him lessons, but it's not starting and Nissan can't figure out the problem. I was up in the air between the Leaf or the Tesla, but Tesla body repairs can be expensive, so I went with what I thought would be the more reliable car. Who knew? So they've lent me a gas-powered car, which drives a little different. So I figure, I'll take the kid out, give him a chance to get used to the difference between gas and electric. The transmission in a gas-powered car, especially a cheap one like the Rogue, is jumpier than the electric and takes a more careful touch. Anyone who drives electric knows the transmission. Well, there is no transmission, it's just direct drive, so it's really smooth acceleration, which makes it nice to drive and easy to teach with, like a go-kart, but not realistic to the feel of a gas-powered car. So I'm teaching him how to drive, and we pull into the street, which is nice and quiet, and perfect for teaching a nervous young kid how to drive safely. I won't say what street it is or who the person involved is, but it was a bleached blonde white lady, probably in her 40s or so, judging by her face. Now, this is a public road, i.e. the public has a right to drive on the road and to make reasonable stops and turns. In general, the public enjoys an easement to travel over all public roads. In fact, looking at some past court cases, in some circumstances the public can enjoy an easement over private roads, something I didn't know until this incident caused me to do a little research. Who knew? At one point, bleached blonde will pull a typical Karen move and lie about this and claim the road in question is private, which is why I pointed out. Anyway, we're doing what you do when you teach a kid how to drive. We pull over, stop, make sure he has his right blinker on, make sure he's close enough to the curb, we're watching for traffic, etc. Then put the left blinker on, check the mirrors, check over the shoulder, pull out into the road, and so on. Of course, at the end of the road we don't want to go out on the busy main street, so we stop, pull over, do a 3-point turn, maybe reverse a little bit to practice that, and get the car turned around and proceed the other way. After we do a few laps of this, white lady pulls up in her SUV and motions to roll the window down. Now up to this point, there's no racism. I figure the lady is just curious, because I didn't grow up with racists or classists. So we stop, my nephew, who is driving, rolls the window down and wave hi. She asks, "Are you lost?" and I say no, he's learning to drive, to which she responds, "He's learning to drive?" The meaning of this is clear to my nephew and me. I don't want you here because your car is poor and that makes my white privilege nervous, is what it means, and I can get away with saying this to you because one of you is black is what else it means. There are a few other possibilities and subtexts as well, I'll go through a few of them. I don't believe he's learning to drive, but I'm processing it and it's going to take me a minute because I assumed he was in his 30s because he's a big adult-looking kid. I don't trust you because you're a black kid and this is my little fancy house in my little white town and I don't like people I don't know driving on my street. I have no right to question anyone, but I'm going to go stick my nose into someone's business anyway because I have white lady privilege and this is why everyone, and I mean everyone, hates us. I'm going to harass the 17-year-old kid because I don't understand that white people harassing a young black kid could very easily lead to a racist police incident that causes the uninvestigated murder of yet another black child. So I don't know which interpretation to go with. Just wondering now, Easton, are you getting the point? So then she lies to me and tells me the road is private. It's not, I've checked. And then she mumbles something about us driving back and forth and how she was wondering why we were doing that. None of your business. Again, it's a public road. I stare at her smiling, she stares back, I guess expecting me to move along. I continue staring, she continues, I continue, and she realizes she has no other moves and drives away. Now me and my nephew continue doing laps on whatever road we choose because we're not done yet, but unfortunately we were very close to done because it was a fairly short dead end, probably only a half mile, and he was already good enough with the car that I was comfortable taking him to a larger neighborhood to practice on bigger roads. So we only did about 3 more laps, and then I took over to drive him to the other neighborhood where we continued the lesson. Of course we discussed this ignorant person for a while, but then conversation moved on to other topics, but it's bothering me now and I'm sure it bothers him every single time it happens. Oh, did I mention, Easton, this happens all the time to his father and his mother and to his sister? All taxpayers, all working 60 hours a week, all trying to build a nicer life for themselves, all decent people who are nice to other people. Did I also mention that I have been driving with him in small neighborhoods for about 6 months, and usually we wave, open the window, say hi, tell people he's learning to drive, and they smile and wave and wish us good luck? You know, like normal people. Maybe you could take a lesson, Easton, and do something about your privileged people so they don't make life painful for everyone else. So finally what I'm contemplating is I'm thinking maybe this lady is just ignorant and needs a little help understanding what happened. Maybe this lady needs a chance to ask questions when she's not in a state of fear. I'd love to reach out to someone like this, and I'd love to explain the pain, fear and trauma she just caused a 17-year-old high school student with her behavior. He clearly understands that she is afraid of him, that she used her privilege to make him feel unwelcome in a place where she had no right to do that, and he is angry about it, as I would be if I were 17. Women like her cause this kind of anger in these children, and it is a cost. I would love for her to take some time out of her day to understand what she just did to this child, and to understand how damaging it is to our society when privileged people unthinkingly treat others as less important than themselves. Thank God I was there to stop this overprivileged, ignorant woman from causing this young man any further pain and doing any more damage to his overburdened psyche than she did. I would love for her to understand her crime and to have a chance to apologize and make amends to my nephew. Thank you for listening, Easton.